JB here. JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Monday, November 17th, 3:32. On this fine afternoon, talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from the S&P down 1.2%, giving back, well, not giving back Friday's rally because it was pretty much a flat session, but resuming the sell-off that kind of started on Thursday. Uh, and nothing much, right? Our markets tried to break out. They open lower, bounced 674 on the SPY by about, let's see here, 945, then chopped around and said, okay, here's a chance. Maybe the start of a melt up today, and then just can't find footing. Then around the noon hour, it's kind of like we topped off, and it's been kind of sell mode ever since. Found a little bounce at 3 o'clock around 662 on the SPY. It's like uh, all these different headlines and catalysts, and you look around to see what is the catalyst today. And over the weekend, you try and find a proxy for the markets, like where they might open on Monday, based on all the headlines and everything. But Bitcoin trades 24/7. Sometimes you can use that as a gauge to kind of figure out, okay, what's the risk on, risk off environment going to be like, or what is it like now? What's the future's going to open up on Sunday? And they were down just a little bit, but now, overnight, or I think it was Sunday afternoon, they wiped out their entire gains for 2025. When I say wiped out their entire gains, that's just in context of what it's opened the year at and where it is now. Back in April, I was substantially. Bitcoin might have hit 75,000. I have to remember, go back and look what that was. So it's not anywhere near the lows that we hit this year, but it again makes this great, all these great headlines to kind of rationalize moves in the market. So today, nothing's really changed, right? We still have this week Nvidia earnings. Wednesday, we have retail sales, well, retail earnings, which will give a peek into some of the retail numbers that we haven't had a glance at because of the government shutdown. So tomorrow we have Home Depot tomorrow, Target on Wednesday, Walmart on Thursday, and then we get the jobs report on Thursday. So outside of that, and I'm looking around, the Wall Street Journal says that selling accelerating in the afternoon as traders looking for fresh evidence that Wall Street is peeking closer under the hood of America's artificial intelligence boom, right? I mean, we could have rallied. It could be the same kind of headline. Uh, so it's like, what is it? I mean, what's the catalyst? For now, again, I keep using the SPY as my support resistance area, and on breaks below, I'll look to be a little more aggressive on put positions and put hedges. We break above, obviously, maybe I'll get a little more aggressive on the call side, but not to make, especially if I don't have a ton of positions on, and it's not a Thursday or Friday where inexpensive premiums because of the on weekly strikes make it a little easier to trade, a little more selective and a little less aggressive. So that's kind of how I'll trade things today, possibly tomorrow. And yeah, if I see opportunities, I mean, there's names I'm looking at. So anyway, in regards to the SPY, I was hoping that 673 would hold today. That not the case, and now we're down here. So 668.83 was the 50-day moving average on the SPY, pending any last 25-minute stick save. We're going to close under the 50-day for the first time since I guess May, April. I don't have my chart pulled all the way back, so you'll have all those headlines, and then all eyes are going to be on Wednesday with Nvidia. And it's to me, it's like, is it good? Even if it's a monster beating raise, it's like, how is the market can react? That's the question. It's not what data point are they going to fixate on? Is it so you don't know? It could be Nvidia could be up 5% on a miss. So that's kind of the environment we're in. To me, it's just another one of these ammo pieces. And I put it on FinTwit earlier today. 10 years ago, it used to be Bitcoin would sell off because it would be like, oh, Bitcoin sells off because of market weakness. Now it's like market weakness is because of Bitcoin selling off, right? So it's funny how that kind of switched. So we'll see how that, hopefully, to me, one of the things I was looking back in April with Bitcoin, and now, it's just adding another notch to this possible scenario or ingredients for pull from the market. But to me, I don't want to see things break. And back, I don't know how many years ago, I don't know if it was 2015, you had these 3-time ETF instruments, and I was talking about on Friday, right? The amplification of things, right? So 3-time, now 5-time bear. But back in 2015, the VIX broke, right? And there was all these folks that got wiped out on VXX and UVXY, and those ETFs caused some crazy swings in the market. Back in April, my fear was if Bitcoin really sold off to the point that MicroStrategy had to start liquidating some of the Bitcoin, what's that going to do, right? What does that do for Bitcoin? And then now so many folks are vested in that, so it's got to have an impact on the markets. That's the thing I don't want to see break. I don't want to see Bitcoin get to the point where MicroStrategy is going to have to start liquidating Bitcoin. And I think they just announced more purchases here today. I don't know how those financial shenanigans work. I don't get it. I know he posts all these returns. I've tried to listen to him explain it in kind of layman terms. I still don't get how they do this Bitcoin. And to me, it's like they give favorable terms on these debt deals and then use that to buy Bitcoin. But then at some point, if Bitcoin goes, someone's got to lose money, right? So that's the thing. I don't want to see that break, right? When things break, that's when it causes crazy things with the market, right? And that's obviously the financial crisis. You had those credit default swaps that were all packaged together, and those broke, and then it caused craziness with the market. So don't want to have some kind of to me back in April. That was the thing I was worried about, that something breaks. Hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, not in fear mode. But anyway, so today, market was kind of finding some, I would say, weakness, but it just looked like it couldn't hold. And once 673 couldn't hold, right before the noon hour, got some of those Broadcom spec puts. Some of the reason why is because with NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday, premiums are going to hold up on puts and calls. So even if it does and it bounced a little bit, the premiums will hold up. And I think the puts are up 50 or 60% now. And then I was looking for another position, and another name, Palo Alto reports after close Wednesday, Zscaler's main competitor. So another name that premium should hold up. So I went and got some puts there as well. To me, of course, I love seeing the market rally, but at the same token, if there is some pullback, I mean, some names, you look at Broadcom, I think it was 323 on Friday, right? Do I have my charts? Why don't I have my charts up here? Usually they're front and center. Let's see what the low is. Friday's low, 329, excuse me. So, do I think it could head down there? You start looking at the Broadcom chart. It's under its 50-day moving average since Thursday. And then you start looking at some levels. Every time it got to its 50-day, it bounced until Thursday, right? So is that a sign that there's more weakness coming here? I don't know, but I looked at the premiums, and if it gets to 329 by Wednesday, the put's going to be, close to a double already. So they'll be 150, 200%. I'll lock in, ride free, and trade how I've been trading. All right, so that's the reason, the thought process between Broadcom, Zscaler. And then on the flip side, looking for calls. And of course, Lemonade 66.25 was the lows on Friday. Still has a potential bull flag setting up. So if that holds, got those Reddit calls at the end of the day on Friday. Of course, hindsight's 2020, but I don't want to be in a spot where there's news out Monday morning. I missed the move. So look great in the pre-market, 195, then 192, and all the way down to 185 just a little bit ago. Not going to add anything. I'll probably wait till NVIDIA earnings, right? No sense in getting crazy unless I see crazy, really good opportunities. I don't know, what would be the catalyst gets me into Reddit. But since I'm already holding strikes, I'll just continue to hold those. And then other names, I don't want to get into ramblings about Serve Robotics. I've said this so many times, like I'm uber bullish the name, but I'm not blinded enough in my bullishness to just continue to add calls if the market's selling, right? And it's like bears have control, no reason to fight the trend. When I see other opportunities, I'll look for some more strikes. I'll wait for the kind of dust to settle. But gosh, I look at that, I'm like, do I get some more strikes in next year? It doesn't make sense to do that for me right now. So I'll just continue to be patient there. Oh yeah, take a look at gold, right? Just a little while ago, just big $50 move to 4,000 and bounced. Again, when you see the moves in that, and it's like everything's selling off. Someone was posting, I don't know if it was this morning, around correlation between the market and golds, right? And typically, I guess there's a one correlation, or it's not not that correlated. I think I forget exactly what the, but typically the market and gold don't go up in lockstep together, right? At least in the magnitude that it did. So of course they were spinning that bearish, but something to watch. Anyway, that's it, folks. Have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.